Brandon Ingram is a very interesting player if you're talking about the Chicago Bulls. I don't really know what the market is for Brandon Ingram, but as a Bulls fan, I'm kind of interested. We're going to talk about his free agency.
Let's talk about one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
What is going on, Bulls Nation? So I know what you're thinking right now. It's like, man, come on, man. Brandon Ingram, he's always injured. He doesn't fit the timeline. We're trying to rebuild, and I get all of that. The one thing that interests me about Brandon Ingram is the fact that he is an unrestricted free agent after this season. So there is very little to no risk of bringing Brandon Ingram. I don't want to bring in Brandon Ingram, the player. I want to bring in what he could bring to the Bulls as far as, imagine if we could trade, and I don't know what the market is for Brandon Ingram. It's so quiet on the New Orleans side that you don't know what they're asking for. I mean, I can't believe that they're going to get a whole lot for a guy that could walk away. And initially, from the reports, they're saying that he is seeking $40 million a year. No team would give him that. Not in this new CBA. Not at all. So teams are hesitant to deal, important assets to get Brandon Ingram. Because why would you give something of value? For example, if you are Golden State, why would you give in Kuminga or, let's say, Wiggins for a guy that might walk right after this summer? Or if you are not willing to pay him $40 million, which no team should pay Brandon Ingram $40 million. Maybe if you're, I don't know, Brooklyn Nets, that you have a surplus of money and you just don't know where to spend it. But even at that, I don't support that. Brandon Ingram is like a taller Zach LaVine, minus the shooting. He's more athletic. You know what? I take that back. I don't say that. He's taller than Zach LaVine. Now, why would I want another Zach LaVine? I don't. What I want is that if New Orleans, like I said, I don't know the market for him. So let's pretend that New Orleans needed a center, because they do. What if you give him Vooch and Patrick Williams? Patrick Williams is a power forward that could be an insurance policy for New Orleans. He's still pretty young, in a pretty reasonable contract. That if Zion Williamson is out, you can plug him in there, or even if he's there, you can put him as a small forward, for example. And then I know you got Herb Jones as well, but the point is you have a young talent that you can get in for somebody like Brandon Ingram. Could they get a better package than that? I'm not sure. Probably. If we're talking about, I don't think the Warriors, for example, who wants Brandon Ingram, would include Kuminga in there. Would Wiggins be better? Perhaps. I don't see them as somebody who's contending right away. But I know they need a center. So Vooch also is not a big risk because he only has 1 year left on his deal. So a lineup of, for example, Vooch, a healthy Zion, Patrick Williams. I don't know who the other guys are. CJ McCollum. I'm assuming the one who got out, Jonte, is going to be out for at least a year. So, for the Bulls, what it does is, you get rid of Vooch, obviously, and then you get rid of Patrick Williams' contract. Not that I'm eager to get rid of his contract, but hey, if we can hit the reset button, why not, right? So do you have two options? For example, you do get Brandon Ingram. You could either re-sign him, sign and trade. So let's say Miami Heat wants him, so you're going to sign him, trade him to the Heat, and get some assets in return. Maybe a first round, maybe a first round pick, kind of like what San Antonio did to the Bulls when we got DeMar DeRozan. So you're going to help a team facilitate a sign and trade. You're going to get some, semi-bad contracts in return. And then in the other side, you give them Brandon Ingram. I know Miami is coveting him. I don't know if Miami really has the assets to trade for Brandon Ingram right now. But if you do that, hey, we might absorb somebody like the shooter that they have. So, the possibilities are there. If it's not there, For example, really no team wants to sign Brandon Ingram, which is hard to believe. You can just let him walk away. And if you do that, you generated, what, 30 million in cap space? Woo, that is huge. That is huge. With that cap space, you could help, again, facilitate, kind of like what Utah is doing right now. They're always in the mix, trying to absorb contracts, and in the process, they're getting a second-round pick here, 2 seconds that Utah got by getting Jalen Hood-Schifino. That is the power of having a cap space. You can accumulate assets that perhaps you could use later down the line when you are ready to contend. So I don't mind grabbing Brandon Ingram right now if that is only the price. I mean, you can throw in maybe the Portland pick that I don't think is ever going to convey. So just to make it look good that they had a first rounder. But in that case, I'm going to be all for it if it means Vooch and or Patrick Williams. I'm not feeling good about the Patrick Williams contract right now. Now, if it becomes Kobe White, then it becomes a bit dicey, because I feel like Kobe White is a first rounder, is worthy of a first rounder. That I might have to push back a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see down the line how it works out for the Bulls. I might even do it. I don't know. We'll see. But this is a trade that I'm not against. I'm totally not against. Worst case scenario, you keep Brandon Ingram. Don't pay him 40 though. Maybe 30. I don't know if he's going to take that. If not, let him walk away. Let him walk away or sign and trade. But let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the prospect of Brandon Ingram if he is available, and maybe the Pelicans would take that trade. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and if you're a Bulls fan, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.